Hello, hi, welcome back, my creature people. My name is Jared Krichevsky. I'm a creature and character concept artist. I had to think about it for a second. Like my mind shut off, and I had to think about it. What do I do? What do I do here? What do you do here? Welcome back. Welcome back to Creature Corner, episode 35. I know. Can you believe it? 35 episodes we've been hanging in here, sculpting monsters, talking smack, doing silly things. Very excited to welcome back our good friend, the liquor to my nemesis. It's Matthew Millard.
Okay, that was good.
I thought Resident Evil.
Yeah, man, busted
theme.
out.
Thought it would, and anytime you say anything's a liquor, it's just automatically funny.
You lit liquor.
You liquor.
Yeah, it's been a minute, man. I'm so glad to be back. My leg fell off and I had to get them reattached. And
He had to get a new leg.
He had to get two new legs.
He had to get two new legs.
Two new legs.
He needed a leg up.
Oh,
God. Forget it. Let's make some monsters, man.
Sounds good, dude.
So I'm going to be continuing on with our boy. I started him last week. Basically a Star Trek, Orville, Deep Space Nine, utopian.
Oh, yeah, man. He looks great.
Yeah. This is exactly where we left off last week. We used that mirror technique and we made a lot of new fins and we're having a good time.
Oh, cool.
Let's see what else do I have on him? Oh yeah, he's got teeth. There you go.
Let's see that. Oh, okay. Ooh, nice. Look at him. Honestly, even that expression makes him look a little more fish.
Just a little bit more like fishy.
Just a fishy. He's a fishy boy.
Well, maybe we'll weld the teeth together and give him like some little parrot beak, chomper teeth.
Parrot beak.
Parrot beak, and then so that's it, man. And then I had him in a little bit of a render,
just to see the forms and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get. I'm gonna dress him up today. We'll get maybe make some modern kind of clothing, and just kind of polish this guy off today. This is the nice thing about like limiting yourself to just a bust. Because sometimes you start something and all of a sudden your appetite gets really big. You're like, and then I'm going to add to it, and I'm going to add to it.
Yeah, man.
Bigger and bigger. So sometimes as a way to kind of manage your time and expectation, just stick to a head, stick to a bust. It's something fast and doable. It's fun, and then you get to scratch the itch, and then your next project you can go on and it can be bigger and better. Neato burrito, as we say.
Bonito burrito.
A little bit of burritos. So, hey, man, you got something up. What you got?
Let's check it out.
It's gnarly. He's going for gnarly.
Yeah, this is just like a kind of cyber demon I did sometime last year on a weekend. And it's been sitting around for, honestly, probably a year or more. So we're doing a little noodle session today, and I'll see what's going on at the end of it.
There's nothing like fishing out an old project from the depths of the library.
Bust a little bodybuilder in there for
body.
We don't know what's going on. We don't even know where we're going. We're just gonna pick up the pen.
We're gonna pick up the pen
and
sometimes just giving yourself a problem to solve that way is nice. Like make some marks, put something down on paper, and then fix it. Oh yeah, man. been a big week for monsters, like with Resident Evil.
Oh yeah,
all of it. You
watched all of it?
You did. I watched like 3-4 episodes so far.
Yeah,
still pushing my way through.
Yeah, I think probably around. Did you say you'd seen the fourth one?
I'd seen at least the third one. I don't know if I saw the fourth one.
Yeah,
assume I'm up to 3.
Yeah, 4 is whenever it starts to really pick up. I mean, it's my favorite franchise. Hold on, my dog, get out of here. Come on, lay down, buddy. Lay down.
I mean, it is definitely your franchise.
Absolutely, and like.
That's true.
I think the movie that came out was it was painful for me because they really tried to do the source material, and it just, if you're going to do the source material, do the source material, right? But
they always, it drives me nuts because every single one of them, they always change it. Mm-hmm. They just can't help themselves. Just tell the story from the game.
Yeah, and they've always got.
Simple. If you give them people that, like, they're going to be happy because that's what we're expecting. It's like when they adapt a book and they go the complete opposite way of the book too.
Here, dude, I'm sorry. You're gonna have to take over for a second. My dog is.
All right. Well,
give me half a second. He
was back for a minute, but now he's gone. All right. We'll see you in a sec. Hi. This is very dramatic music. Yeah, the first Mila Jovovich Resident Evil, I loved that one. And then just after that, man, they splintered off into insano territory. The last one was I don't even remember, what was it, Aftermath, I think? Just crazy. So we are going to work on a Fishman. A little bit of a fish guy. And really, there's not much left that I want to do on him. I mean, I guess, I always want to avoid the temptation of over detailing something because it's really, really easy to do. So how do you get to something that's simple? You're not creating a lot of extra work for the makeup artists. Because if this is a practical makeup, hi Matt, he's back. If this is we were talking about if this is a practical makeup, that has to sit on a person. Let me swap us around.
That was actually one of the first things I read was oh, this looks like practical application.
Yeah, 100%. You don't want to sculpt something that overdo something either. Because then it also has to they're going to take your design and then they have to resculpt your design on the clay, on the maquette.
Yeah.
They have a cast of the actor, and essentially then a sculptor has to sit and then sculpt your design from your images, and then they're just applying that to your to their sculpt, because that has to then get molded and cast and put on an actor.
Okay, so
they might.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all good, dude.
My brain. My dog was going crazy, dude. He was like, I want to do something. So I let him downstairs, gave him a bone. He'll be good for.
No, yeah.
30 minutes.
They need something to gnaw on.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, dude, the show, I think where I'm at with the show is that.
We're back to Resident Evil.
Yeah, I gotta sew it up. I gotta put my opinion
No,
out
no.
there.
I thank you for going back.
Um, like it's definitely like TV adaptation. Um, and I'm glad that they did their own story. They did a brand new story, but they tied it in with all of the other games in their own little ways. So,
Okay, so you're catching Easter eggs.
I mean, they're pulling lore like everywhere, and you're only on episode 3, so
So
you'll see. You'll see.
I don't know. I don't know yet.
Yeah, you'll see. The big takeaway, the big complaint is going to be the teen angst that is going on. It's very very heavy handed.
That's what I've
Dude,
noticed.
it's hard. It's hard to get past. They're really driving it home with these two new characters, but ultimately it starts to play like pretty well, and it's
Okay, because
I was honestly like, by the end of it, I was like, that was sick. Like, I'm ready for the other, because it's a faithful adaptation. Even how the story kind of develops, it feels very Resident Evil. The relationships that happen, the stories that happen. There are episodes that literally feel like you're playing the game because you're searching through things, solving clues and shit like that. You're like, okay, like it's really interesting how they did the nods, and not to mention like you know, the story developments that happen are incredibly interesting for a diehard fan. And it's like, okay, well, I'm ready for more. It's like the movie that came out was 100% fan service gone wrong, and this TV show, this TV show is like a new imagining of it. Like 20 or so years in the future, and they just slowly kind of tie in everything in this kind of dystopian.
they unravel the mystery.
But man, the character development is a little rough. It's going to be tough to get through the first several episodes.
I gotta admit, yeah, like the so far. I mean, I'm not as far as you, but and I also have no understanding of any of the lore past like the 3 games I played once.
Right.
But I appreciate anybody who's deep into the lore of anything, because like you're just diving in. But yeah, as a not a layman, because I know the world and everything, but like the girls' stories so far not interesting to me.
Right.
And I'm not also not the target market for that. I'm a I'm a 40-year-old dude, so it's not going to appeal to me. But Jeffrey Reddick, I like his story so far because it's on the inside, and I think that's always interesting to me is the kind of the minutia and politics of evil and banality.
Yeah, you mean Lance Reddick, the guy that plays Wesker?
Yes.
Yeah, Lance Reddick, he plays, and Wesker's he's the main bad.
He's
from
the main
original
bad.
games.
Yeah.
Up until like the 5th game, he is the bad guy. And the way that they do it, where he's like a father now, where you're at, he's like, he's a father. He's got these 2 daughters. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah,
that's
makes
crazy.
Sense. That gives him stakes.
But I mean, just
that gives them something to lose and then something to fight for.
Well, it gives much more depth to the story the further you get in. You'll see what I'm saying. But I actually, like I was saying, like the first 3 or 4 episodes, you're kind of trudging through. But I will say the VFX, dude.
They look really good.
You saw the 3rd episode with the lickers?
Yes, they look fantastic.
And the giant spider?
Yes.
That ripped that dude in half?
For context, Matt has been into this giant spider
since 1996. I was into this spider.
First spied a giant spider.
Dude, I've been waiting for them to do the spider. I've been waiting for some property of Resident Evil to do the spider, and they did it.
Well, I mean, there are other huge spider movies.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter.
Not related to Resident Evil. Jerry.
That is, see, that matters.
Okay,
Yeah,
all
that's
right.
you get it. But dude, the VFX are top notch, and
Looks
the
fantastic.
the later you get, the more impressive they are. It's like,
Yeah,
wow, dude,
yeah.
like, it's very highly impressive
The,
what they do with the liquors,
art
having
the art
yeah,
direction on all of it.
yeah, dude, it's beautiful. But
It's
like
great.
how they didn't really alter the design of
Nope.
the liquors, but they
just
gave
updated
them,
it, you know, and
yeah,
made
they gave them like
they
they gave them look dev updates that were dope. Like you could see the
Yeah,
yellow of the tendons and the fascia and the white skin instead of just a red brain monster, you know.
yeah.
Also, just the way
Like
that they did it
they did a
was,
really nice pass on those creatures.
it was really, I was highly impressed. I was like, dude,
Let's
hell
see.
yeah.
Let's see if we can pull those guys up. Liquor, Resident Evil.
Yeah, you'll have to probably say
I have to
Netflix.
safe search.
But yeah, man, you know, the later they get, the more callbacks
I mean,
you
we
get.
talked. I think we
That
talked
they,
about this on when we saw the trailer come out. But
oh, the VFX.
yeah,
Yeah, dude. I mean, they look
I mean,
incredible.
they look fantastic.
Look at that. Like that's
Yeah,
insane.
that's really nice work.
That looks like a spotlight is on some sort of weird, like wax filled monster. That's awesome.
The
Look at all the blue hues and stuff. You know, they pushed all that stuff in comp, but man, they look great, dude.
yeah, they did really nice work. Really. Uh, that's what's fun about Resident Evil. You
Yeah,
got
I
your
think
zombies, you got your giant spiders, you got your plant monsters, you got
I think
you know,
I think I like how they're not even focusing on the zombies. That's like the best part because everybody and their mom's been making zombies since the 60s, dude. And this world has zombies in it. And they're like, anyways,
so
there are
about
the
zombies and
so we got zombies, you
we
know,
got
but
zombies, but that's not a big deal.
yeah.
And other worlds are like, oh, zombies.
They're like, what do you have to do? Do you have to shoot them in the head? Do they eat our flesh? And then Resident Evil's like, man, this shit.
Yeah,
this is normal stuff.
supposed to do about zombies.
Hmm. But yeah, it ultimately, especially for a fan, it really plays off. I would definitely say it's well, not kind of, it's easily the most what's the word, like,
It's the most Resident Evil of the Resident Evils.
yeah, it's the best adaptation so far while making their own thing, you know. And
That's hard.
you know,
That's
after
really hard
the
to do. Yeah.
yeah, man, I mean,
I mean,
you know,
I think hopefully we get closer to this era of like faithful adaptations, and seems like we're getting better at it. But the best video game adaptation movie right now is like what Sonic.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
The Hedgehog.
Yeah, and that movie
Incredible.
slams.
And no
Both
one
of those
would
movies
ever-
are awesome.
And no one would have ever have guessed
Right.
it was going to be Sonic that broke it. We dreamed of Prince of Persia, but it just didn't.
I was never dreaming of Prince of Persia.
I loved Prince of Persia, man. That was tight.
Yeah.
It was a tight.
Oh yeah, I mean, like the
Very
game
good
is
game.
really fun.
The game is
But,
really good.
I
But
mean,
they cast Jake Gyllenhaal.
they did that.
They
Those
did
are the
that.
facts. Those are
Yeah, they
literally
did
the
that.
facts.
Yeah. And I love Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh
But
yeah, dude.
that movie doesn't need to exist.
What are your favorite Jake Gyllenhaal movies? Two.
Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
Nightcrawler 1, dude. Prisoner.
Nightcrawler and yeah, dude, Prisoner. Oh, I was gonna say Enemy, but dude,
Oh,
Prisoner's fucking awesome. That
Yeah.
guy's just insane. That guy is insane.
Oh man.
He's so good.
He's so good.
God, look at he is so good.
He's so good, man. But after Nightcrawler, I was like, oh, he was
Yeah.
real. Yeah.
He was real.
He was real. That movie was insane. I saw an episode of Man vs. Wild where he partners with a celeb, and they make them do like crazy shit. And It's him and Jake Gyllenhaal on a. They have to climb a rope
Okay.
as a passage between two cliff faces.
Okay.
And you have to hook onto this rope and shimmy across. And you're thousands of feet up. You know, you will die if you fall. And good on Jake Gyllenhaal, man. He did it.
He didn't die.
He did not die. I would have died. Like,
I would have easily perished.
Everything could have been like completely secure, and I would have died.
Yeah, I would have fallen away to my death,
and I would have died. And that's why I sit at a computer.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's a good thing I make monsters fun.
But yeah, Resident Evil, that was, liked it. I liked it by the end. I really liked it, fun stuff. Every time they cut back to the angsty girls, I was like, here we go again.
Yeah.
It does end up like becoming interesting and developing, and it's cool. But they are 14, so.
Well, I think that part of the drama feels that's what's so surprising, because it doesn't feel Resident Evil.
Right. Exactly.
But that's my big problem with it.
But it's a TV show, right? I mean, they gotta have
something else going on, but I think they could have done literally anything else. So the weird, they're
3 episodes in.
And
3 episodes in. Just saying.
All right. I mean, I know. 3. He's like 3 episodes.
I'm just saying, it's following Wesker's children.
You don't know. Okay. I mean,
Wesker would never have kids. Is the first. It's like, oh, this evil ass is having kids. So you'll see.
I mean, we know where this goes.
Yeah, they're all dolphin people. It's the weirdest. They are all dolphin people.
We have not done a dolphin person yet.
Might be time.
Might be time to do a dolphin person.
Might be time to go dolphin mode. You got to go dolphin mode every now and then.
It's like goblin mode, but you squeal like a dolphin and you squirt water out of your mouth when you do it.
But it's dolphins.
Dolphin. We're 26 minutes in. If
you are alive and watching this show,
if you're watching, come say hi to us. Did you like Resident Evil? Have you watched it?
No. What'd you think? What'd you think about Resident Evil? What'd you think about Thor: Love and Thunder?
That's right. We have to talk about Thor: Love and Thunder too.
Yeah.
Because I saw that movie.
I saw the film as well.
He saw the movie, so considering the box office numbers, I think everybody else saw it too.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's doing really well.
And it's a lot of fun. And we, what's always crazy to me, talking industry, is the post-Marvel artist artwork.
The artwork dumps. Yeah, they're awesome.
So we'll try and stay away from spoilers for anybody, but my favorite thing is when all the artists start, posting all their work online.
Right.
And you just get a taste of the process,
Yeah, man, I really liked the movie. I thought it was really funny. I took it for what it was. I don't think it's one of those things to where you can really sit around and be like, yeah, but it's not as good as the other ones. That's how I feel. I feel like this is more of like,
why isn't Thor: Love and Thunder like Endgame?
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like
do that.
It was really
comic book movies. Yeah, they got a lot of ground to cover.
It was also a lot of time to fill. It was really funny, which I thought was awesome. It was more of just a fun film than kind of any of the other Marvel films I've ever seen. It was
most of the Marvel
just having fun.
They're very quippy. They're very jokey.
Right.
They take their premise seriously. Thor
Right.
is just kind of, what Taika Waititi did is he's just said, no, 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 no. We're just gonna be all out silliness all the time.
And I think that's really cool.
I think I
It's
think for Thor it works. For
yeah,
part of it is that I watching all the Thor movies now. Thor 1 is very stiff by comparison, um, and then Thor 2 is so almost self-serious that
right.
so I think when Taika came on board, um, eschewing him for just comedy, straight up comedy.
Dude, and
Uh,
it's
it
more of
it
like
broke free, and it worked.
it's like you're 13, you go see the movie with your friends because your mom dropped you off and you have a good time, you
Yeah.
know.
My,
But honestly, like it was
well, and like
there's
I can take my kid to see Thor, you know.
right. I can't take my kid to see
You
Thor
can't take
because
his
he's a
kid.
dog.
He's a dog. You can't bring your dogs into the theater.
What kind of world do we live in, man?
I
Can't
know,
even
man.
take my
Can you
dog
imagine
into
if
the
you could take your
theater.
dog into the theater?
Dude, I would take my dog everywhere
I'd
if I
take my
could.
dog.
I would take you take all three of your dogs. Just
I'll take him.
show up.
No. I think I would take them one at a time and just like have a special date with them.
That's really cute, man.
You
That
know,
is
it's
really
like
cute.
they
I'm gonna have
deserve.
to tell my dog that.
They deserve some. When you have three dogs, they're all demanding your attention. You got the one buddy, so he just gets all the love.
And he's a big bubba too.
And he's he's a two.
He is a damn tube, Your Honor.
But I think they have different tastes. Like, I couldn't take Nala to see a scary movie.
Right. Yeah, she's not having it.
She's a princess. She likes strictly dog movies. She liked Clifford.
She likes strictly dog movies.
Yeah, she liked Clifford, and
She loved Clifford.
Clifford's actually really good.
Did it come out?
Yeah, it's on Prime.
Shit, didn't that come out like 3 or 4 years ago or something?
No, it came out like earlier this year.
Oh, okay, dude. I'm gonna have to watch it. I gotta watch it.
It's fun, and I'll tell you this, the dog looks really good.
Does
like
it look good?
they didn't cheap out on the VFX for it.
Does it look good?
It looks good.
Does it look good?
It looks good.
All right, I'll check it out. Only if it looks good.
Like I think a seasoned professional like yourself would say it looks good.
I'd say, you know what?
You know what?
That looks pretty good.
That looks pretty good.
That's what I would say.
That's what I would say. That's
All right,
a Tim thing. That's a Tim thing to say.
I'm gonna bounce out and stream Clifford the Big Red Dog. I'll be right back. Now that's dope, man.
You're like, you know what? I'm gonna go watch it right now.
You know what? Yeah, there is just to roll back one more time. By the end of the season on Resident Evil, there are some like Weta level VFX in there, dude.
Really?
Yeah. Like,
did you stay for the credits and see who the vendors were?
it was all Tim.
It was all Tim. One Tim.
It just said Tim, and then it was 1,000 Tims.
The greatest of Tim. The greatest of Tims. They're like, we are Tim.
We are farmers.
Tim to Tim.
No, what else? What else? Okay, so we got Thor. Yeah,
Thor.
I really enjoyed Thor. It was not some, crazy end game kind of thing, but it was a really fun movie. A lot of funny stuff.
It is a really fun movie. I think the stakes don't feel as big as Ragnarok. At least I didn't feel like they were that big. But it's I like the story, and actually I was surprised by Christian Bale.
Dude, I
think I was like, oh man, he's just doing the Marvel paycheck thing. Let's see what he does, and I actually really enjoyed it.
I really liked Christian Bale's character, but I felt like I've got two critiques of the film.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. We're gonna line them up. and it's some serious stuff to talk about. 2 very serious critiques.
Woo.
I know it's big. First critique is that 90% of the soundtrack in this damn movie is Guns N' Roses.
Oh yeah. You this really bothered Matt.
I just can't stand Guns N' Roses, man.
It really
Guys,
bothered you, man. And
guys, I mean, I don't want to dig it in, but it's like you've got Guns N' Roses playing in every scene, and then one of the kids has got a GNR shirt on, and he changes his name to the name member or to the band member of the Guns N' Roses.
Yeah,
I'm like, why is this such a big deal? Why is this such a big deal?
Like what? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Second thing would be like, Christian Bale's character is so sick, but I feel like they kind of sold him short with some of the cinematography and some of the writing. I'm like, this dude could be scary as, like, just, he'd be fucking scary.
I mean, dude summons monsters.
Yeah.
And here's my one thought is that, like, okay, they didn't want to take away the nose because they didn't want it to be compared to Voldemort, right? But you look at the comic, and he doesn't look like Voldemort to me.
Right.
So, when people always do that, oh, it's gonna look like this or that. Like, here's the thing: is I feel like, yeah, you go that like dirty makeup route with where they went. Like, they just went with scars, which I thought was like, it's okay. But if he was transforming into that, and that was his final look, because the final look of Gore is he's got like tentacle heads, right?
Right. Well,
like that was cool.
He gets that. I think honestly,
like okay, like.
So my speculation would be copyright because like the sword that he gets and his entire story is linked to the whole Venom symbiote kind of background, and they're trying to stay as far away from Sony Venom as they can.
Because
gotcha. Instead of like symbiote monsters, it's like shadow monsters and all this other stuff.
But look at that. I mean, that doesn't look like Voldemort to me.
Well, I mean, maybe any face without a nose and scary teeth.
Without a nose. Maybe we just take away the face.
Dude, see, I was waiting for you to say it.
What if he just like didn't have a face?
It's just the classic note that you get, like something scary, like take away the face.
It's a meme. Truly, the amount of times that we've gotten a note where they're like on a scary creature, they're like, just take,
something you've never seen before. Maybe take away the face.
Maybe. And
then
we all know why. It's because of Alien. Alien was the first to really do the no face.
Like the xenomorph?
The xenomorph.
I mean, it's sculpted around a human skull.
But it has no face.
I mean, it's got the remnants of a face.
It doesn't have a face, though.
It doesn't have eyes.
It's sculpted around a face, but he does not have a face.
I don't know.
It's a smooth bucket.
It is smooth tubes.
It's a smooth tube.
I'm into tubes.
we do appreciate tubes.
We appreciate a good tube at Creature Corner.
Yeah, Metallica. There's some Metallica in there. Well, I think Metallica has Stranger Things covered.
Yeah, if you said throw some Slayer in there, I'd be all right with it, though.
Well, I mean, like, I don't know. It's a lot of Guns N' Roses,
dude.
I don't hate them the way you do, but
the thing that I wasn't prepared for was that it was more than one song. I wasn't prepared because I was sitting down in the theater, had a beer with my buddy. I'm like, man, I'm going to tell you, this movie's going to be really fun, but the second they play that one Guns N' Roses song, it's going to piss me off. And then the whole movie is Guns N' Roses.
The second Guns N' Roses song comes on and you throw your glass down, you're like, ah!
I know, dude. I was like, what the hell?
Cut your foot.
What is this communist Russia? It was a lot.
Cut your foot.
It was a lot.
Like traumatic. Jesus.
Yeah, it hurt my feelings.
It hurt my feelings. He did it to mess with you specifically.
I know Taika Waititi found that one guy with 300 followers on Instagram was like, listen, this guy hates Guns N' Roses. Mason's out in New Zealand working on Thor, and he hits up Waititi. Right. He's like, I got a friend back home. Really hates Guns N' Roses.
We're talking about our good friend David Mason, who we used to work with, and who we've tried to get him on the show because he's a fantastic creature artist, but he is in Spain.
Right.
I believe. Yes, he's in Spain, and Spain daytime and nighttime here they don't mesh. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean he's beyond a good creature artist.
Oh no, he is a young wonderkind designer.
Yeah, I mean I think he was
kid just came out of the womb.
I think he was a fine arts teacher before he started working at Sims with us. Dude's insane. I've worked on with a couple of projects since, and I mean it's always such a pleasure to work with him, man.
He always butters his toast.
You know, it's actually really funny you say that because he does always butter his toast.
He does always butter his toast. We used to talk about that, remember? We'd be like,
remember the toast?
You remember? Oh, that guy. Like he would just do his process, and you would just watch his process. Like,
the thing that's really one of the things that's really inspiring about David Mason is that he is so incredibly talented, and also dude just listens to everything you say. If he asks for a critique and you give it to him, he will listen to it, and he'll be like, he's like, man, you're right, or oh, I see what you're saying. Well, I'm going, like he's one of those guys that's never like shutting it down. He's always listening, and I think that's why he's so good, is because he just listens to people.
Yeah. What were you saying?
Yeah. Exactly. Just like you do. You listen to every word that I say.
Yeah, man. I love Resident Evil.
Mm-hmm. Way into it.
That is also a really important point. Just in general, is like when you get a good critique from somebody who really knows what they're talking about, listen to them. There's wisdom to be imparted.
Yeah, I read something a couple of years ago. I think the reason why I bring that up is because I read this article years ago that really helped me, because I've worked in several production studios where a lot of people are just different backgrounds, different age groups, different everything, right? And I can't remember how long ago it was, but it was like, tips for something fill in the blank. And it was just like, no matter how long someone's been in the industry, just like listen to what they have to say. Like if it's someone that is kind of like a dinosaur, or like they're in like the older ways, or they don't know much about exactly what you do.
Yeah.
Their artistic like history and their artistic experience speaks volumes, even down to like people that use software that's like 10 years old. And you're like, okay, well, I can see that you're doing it in this way. But then you really start to listen to the people, and you're like, that's actually a really good idea. I can recreate that in the new software. Or
I can do that like that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like people that do what we do, I mean, it's just important to listen, because sometimes you're so attached and you might be defensive, or, I mean, we're all guilty of this. Everyone's guilty
of a way of working, or a way of seeing or doing things.
Exactly. Like they teach you like these larger aspects, right? Like I had a VFX supervisor that couldn't speak to me in my language as far as like software, but he had a lot of on-set cinematography experience, and he would just drop knowledge bombs. He'd be like, "This is how we used to match lighting in 1985." And you're like, "Wow," you know. And then you take that principle, and you're like, you know, that's actually really tight. Even if you can't open Maya and do it all, it's like just the knowledge in itself. Like no matter who it is, I like to always try and just listen to what someone's saying, because that's someone's initial read. You know, that's someone's
totally.
Someone's, you know, I mean, the initial reads are so important. It comes from being a musician. You know, you show your song to someone that's not a musician, and they say, "Oh, that sounds weird," and you're like, "Uh-oh." People that don't know music say that sounds weird. It's just like whenever I show my friends that don't know VFX, if they look at a shot, or if I show them something, if they say something looks weird, I'm like, okay, something looks weird.
Something, right? Yeah. What's up?
Right? Yeah. Maybe they can't describe it to me, but it's also like, dude, I'm glad to know that something's off, right?
Especially if you show it to someone who has no idea, you know. Right. If it can pass like the average citizen test, then you're usually okay. But if it can pass your soup, then you're good.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, wisdom, cumulative knowledge, you know, if you can always squeeze those stories out of people, that's when you learn real stuff. Let's see. You've just been noodling on your demon boy.
Yeah, man. I'm taking some of these mechanical forms, turning them a little more organic. And this all used to be hard surface, but I'm thinking maybe, you know, flesh is kind of growing and then turning into these kind of like iron fiery horns. And I'm taking just these weird kind of, you know, cyber forms and just kind of getting some musculature out of them. Just by
I hope you don't lose too much of that hard surface stuff, because that was rad.
I think it's going to happen like all right here, and then I want to paint some of it in. You know?
Yeah.
Like I'll go in with and I'll I'll separate it out. You know what I mean?
I like the separation on the neck and head, for sure.
Yeah, I'll like separate some of the parts out with the trim dynamic, like it's just crammed in there. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Crammed. Oh, cram.
Cramden, attorney at law.
Our good friend Cramden. Our good friend Cramden Rambers.
I gotta buy a new computer, man.
Is it finally time?
Yeah, it's time to spend a lot of money on a computer.
It's worth it, man. After I got mine, I was much, much happier.
I know. I mean, I'm ready, because whenever I try and Dynamesh this thing, it'll probably cancel my connection onto our stream.
It'll find you where you sleep.
You laugh, but
cut off your power. Eat all your food in your fridge. Yes, sir.
I watched. This is not a creature anything, but I watched Terminal List. Have you seen? Do you like television?
Do I watch television? Terminal List.
Yeah.
Have I heard of that? I don't know if I've heard of that.
It is the Chris Pratt kind of SWAT TV show.
Okay.
I don't even know how to describe it. That was such that was such a terrible description of that. Oh, it hurts my feelings. Yeah, it's the new kind of action thing with Chris Pratt in it.
Okay.
I don't know if you like, did you like Punisher? Do you like stuff like that?
I liked Punisher. I mean, I watched all of Bosch, The Wire, Sopranos, all that stuff.
Okay, yeah. I mean, this is more. This is definitely more
I don't
Punisher
mind.
than
I don't
anything
mind
else.
cop dramas and stuff like that.
Yeah, this is not a cop drama.
It's not a cop drama.
It's
A
more like
squad
the
drama.
Punisher. Yeah, it's not really a drama. It's like
It's not even a drama.
It's like Tom Clancy
It's
with
like slapstick.
it's Magic Mike, but
It's Magic Mike. They're all dancing.
no, it's like it's kind of like a Tom Clancy show, but with Chris Pratt.
How does Chris Pratt have the time?
And I got to tell you, like Chris Pratt, he's great. Whatever, who cares? That's how I felt. And then
Yeah.
whenever this show came out, I was like, okay, I'm also the guy that's going to watch every Mark Wahlberg movie that comes out. So I'm like, hey, I'm into it. Let's watch this military, Chris Pratt show. It turned out being really good. And I was like, okay, this dude's like on his way to like action level stardom kind of thing. I liked it.
Was this before Chris Pratt was in Guardians and all that?
No, I mean it just came out. It just came out.
And you're like, this Chris Pratt guy. He's okay.
I mean, yeah, he's good in Guardians, but I don't know.
No, I know what you mean. Like, there's always a post superhero movie letdown when you watch a show with an actor, and you're like,
You're like, you're not Doctor Strange.
Dr. Goober. Yeah, and you're just like, I don't know. But
no, I mean,
it's good to hear that it's cool.
Well, I mean, I think what I'm trying to say is, like Guardians is like fun Indiana Jones. There's comedy. This is just nitty gritty, gnarly Chris Pratt stuff. And I was like, okay, so it's like his first like I'm a badass role.
Okay,
I mean?
gotcha. I get you.
Like Jack Reacher kind of crazy stuff.
Yeah, like John Krasinski did Jack Ryan.
Right, which is another Tom Clancy thing.
They all go to Tom Clancy stuff. I mean, like I read Tom Clancy books. Rainbow Six is still a badass book.
Yeah, it's a great Nintendo 64 video game.
I remember that Nintendo. I read the book because of the Nintendo 64 video game.
You played the video game and then read the book because of the video game?
Who wouldn't?
Dude, you are. That's an accolade. That's awesome.
Well, I didn't play the whole video game, but I did read the whole book. The actual book is really good. It's espionage, team squad thriller kind of.
Yeah. SWAT team stuff.
Everyone's getting a sandwich.
Everybody loves sandwiches in Tom Clancy books. That's the thing about it. They're like, I can't wait to go home and get my pastrami.
You're like, man, sir, we're about to launch the missiles. Do you have the code? And he's like, yeah, but you know what I need is pastrami on rye.
Yeah. You know what I go for is a Philly cheesesteak. This is DEFCON 4.
Mustard. It really upset my tummy. I want to try it again. Nonsense. We are using ZBrush. 3D.
What? I thought you were answering a question, and then I looked up, and I was like, "Oh, you're just."
I'm answering questions that aren't being asked yet.
You're just in full psycho mode.
We're just having a good time.
I like it.
Full on psycho.
Yeah, how were the last 2 weeks, man? Did you have a good time?
Oh yeah,
doing the stream.
It's always better with you here, man.
Absolutely.
Always better.
That's great to hear. I missed it. I really did.
We do. There are. It's always fun when people pipe in. They have interesting questions because it always. You might not end up talking about the thing you thought you were going to talk about.
Right. They're like, why is Matt gone?
Yeah.
Why isn't he here?
Why?
When is Matt coming
back? When is Matt coming back? We miss him.
What is Matt's personal cell phone number? What is his home address? Do you have his social?
Do you?
I'm just kidding. No, that's dope, man.
Bodie was having a good time. We were having a good time just making this This little fishy alien dude.
Yeah. So are you 2 sessions in on it?
Yeah, this is session 2.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, yeah. The first ep I did when you were gone, I was polypainting drip.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
saw that. Yeah, I
yeah.
watched that.
I thought it would be nice to do a polypaint.
Hell yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, that was really cool. I watched
little,
some of that.
little polypaint action, and then we started the following week was this guy, and so now I'm giving him a neato little collar, something kind of futuristic.
He needs this. He needs the Star Trek collar.
He needs the collar.
It's got to look like, it's got to look like he's got some sort of vase on his shoulders.
Yeah, it's holding up his big old melon head, you know. There we go. But you know what? I did start watching, and we talked about this on our personal chat, but Legend of Vox Machina.
Yeah, is that is that animated?
It is animated, so think of it like Invincible meets D&D.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. So it's
cool.
it's like Invincible in that it's ultra violent and lots of cuss words and things like that. So that got me hooked because
the cussing got you hooked.
well the anime lots of violence. The animation style is really clean. It looks
cool.
really great. In a way, it kind of reminds me of Avatar: The Last Airbender. In terms of they even have some of the cast in there too, but the animation is just gorgeous, like just super clean. The character designs are fun. It's a cool show, man. And then I'm not a D&D guy like you and Olsen are. Like you guys have played. You guys have serious character builds and stuff, right?
I mean, I think the point of it is to be serious, but not even serious at all.
yeah. And that's kind of how this feels.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I'm stoked on it. I remember you bringing that up. Or actually, I think Olsen watched it too, right?
Kyle Brown said he watched it.
Oh, Kyle Brown said he watched it.
Kyle Brown said he watched it.
The man, the myth, the legend.
I know. I saw Kyle Brown recently.
That's not true. That's such a lie, dude.
I saw him. I saw him.
I saw his life.
I saw the light leave his body. And we all got, baked ham together. It was great.
Dude, baked ham is arguably one of the best.
One of the best, man.
One of the best kinds of ham to have.
Baked in oven, roasted. I don't think what else. What else did we watch?
Yeah, what else is going on?
Just a bunch of people selling hams on the street.
Street ham. Nothing like street ham.
Like street hams. Let's see.
Yeah, we got what? Thor, Resident Evil, Terminal List, something else. Something else is real.
I felt like something else was about to happen.
I feel like something else is real.
Something else is real.
Something else is real. What have you guys watched? Y'all see anything? I mean, everybody's probably still talking about Stranger Things.
Yeah, that's been going on for a while.
I know, dude. Just as I thought I escaped that Kate Bush song, I saw some thing yesterday. I was like, damn, dude.
God.
It's in my head forever now.
Yeah, it's
for the rest
when you're free of it, man. Just when you're free, it comes back.
For the rest of my natural born life.
Yeah. I mean, it's great that it's back, and I'm really happy for her. and I'm happy for new people that are discovering it. But also, dear radio people, stop playing it constantly.
Yeah.
Like we need a moment.
Memes. It's all memes.
It's all memes.
Everything's a meme.
Oh, we did it all for the memes.
We did it all for the memes.
The memes. Dank memes.
Is it time for a check-in?
Oh, is it time for the check-in? Oh, we got...
I don't know the time. It was really just a question.
Oh, no. We have, like... We can do the check-in whenever we want.
We can do the check-in whenever we want.
No one...
Oh, gosh. Did I miss the check-in?
Just crying. Shattered dreams.
Shattered existence of time.
Shattered memes. Edge.
Okay. What else? Oh, I watched Last Night in Soho. Have you seen that one?
Oh, yeah.
Did you watch it?
I have not. I've been going through this phase where I flip around to a bunch of stuff I want to watch. I watch it for like 5 minutes and then I flip immediately. I'm like, I really want to sit down and watch Last Night in Soho.
Yeah.
You put it on and like 5 minutes in and you're like, I hate everything and I hate,
right.
I don't watch anything.
Existence is hard.
Existence is hard. Existing is hard. And then you go back to like comfort food. And, in my case, I'm just watching Orville.
Yeah.
So it's like.
So what is Orville on now? Is it on Ted Lasso Plus?
No, it's on the Hulu's Hulu.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, it's the Hulu.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I watched. I can't remember if I saw the second season. I mean, I watched all the first season.
I'm watching.
But what are they on now?
Right now? They're on 3, so 3 just got
released.
It got delayed because of the pandemic.
Dude, I saw a trailer for the newest season of the Orville, and I was like, wow, they're spending a lot of money on their VFX now. Ever since the success of the first season, they're like, okay, we're just gonna keep upping the budget. You know what I mean?
Dude, it looks great. Even I'm on season 2, but everything I've seen from season 3 so far looks fantastic.
Yeah, man. I remember even reading an article where Seth MacFarlane was like, I had no idea how expensive VFX was, and they spent all of their budget having Norm Macdonald.
As the slime guy. Yeah.
And that shit was hilarious.
Yeah,
the show is funny.
The show is legitimately funny. The makeups are great.
And it's like his dream.
Good. It's genuinely like Star Trek, the most Star Trekian show. And the whole thing is an homage, but it's a really, really good homage.
Yeah, I mean, that was his main goal as a kid, was to make a Star Trek show. And he did it.
It's so good. So I have my buddy work on was it season 2 or 3? Potter, Potter.
Hell yeah, dude!
Yeah,
did he really?
Yeah, he worked on his post-production coordinator, I believe.
It is so cool, man. Come on.
And then I'm sure people we know worked in VFX, and friends of ours did costume design for season 3. Luca Nemolato and Imogene.
Hell yeah.
Chains, they did some costume design. So cool.
That's awesome, dude. Okay, I'm liking it. I like where I'm going. How are you feeling?
What? Where you're going? Oh, it's time for a check.
I mean about your guy. How are you feeling? But we can do a check.
Yeah, let's. Okay, so I made us this new thing. Check it out. Here we go.
Let's see it.
Like this, it goes. The check-in. We made it cool.
We did it.
Oh, it's back, and then it goes away. Then there's back.
I like that drop shadow. Drop shadow's nice.
Isn't that nice? I used all of my Photoshop 95 graphic design skills.
Dude, that's great. The glow.
The glow, the slight green, the red.
Oh, dude. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Just go, oh, it's back. We'll just leave it up. I think we're
just gonna keep going.
We're just gonna keep it up. So Matt, why don't you lead us into your check-in?
Let's lead us into my check-in.
Look at his. Look at his.
Look at his who now?
Look at his head part.
I know the head part's what we're working on. He's got. I actually just recently changed kind of the draft of his skull. Yeah, you can see it really flat, but I don't know.
I like
the way that it's. I like the way that it's rolling around. But yeah, just taking it from here. Let's quick save. Let's see if we can just take it all the way back. It's always fun to see if you can take it all the way back.
Can you take it all the way? Well, without crashing your machine.
I mean, it's okay. We're here to crash.
It's a risk. It's a risk.
I saved it.
Every time I try to rewind, it destroys.
There we go.
Oh, look at that though.
Yeah, pronouncing. Just kind of pulled up a picture of a skull. Started pronouncing some of these forms here. Here we go. There he goes. Look at him.
There you go.
He's going. He's slowly going. And then I'm like, okay, let's go this way. Boom. Some of the organic forms coming in. And this is just Noodle Central 2021.
Noodle Central.
I'm just like drawing.
2029.
I'm drawing lines. I'm like, okay, flesh separation. Inflating some of these forms. And we're just getting there. We're just getting gross with it. The thing is, you got to get gross with it.
Got to get nasty.
You got to get nasty. You got to get some big fat nasties in there.
Because, what's the point without the nasties?
Yeah. And there he is, as he stands. And we're getting there. And we're having a good time. And that's the check-in. I mean, he's a cyber demon. He's got a third eye.
And that's the check-in.
And that's the check-in. It'll probably be like a lizard eye.
That's nasty.
Some sort of little lizard eye in there. Let's bring it up. There it is. Terrible looking.
What if it was a holographic eye?
What if it was a holographic eye?
Like it sees into the nth dimension.
What if it was a holographic eye? What if it was like Tupac? What if it was a holographic Michael Jackson?
Let's see.
At the Hollywood Bowl.
At the Hollywood Bowl. All right, then I've got Mr. Fish Ham Man.
Oh yeah.
And he's got a little jacket. Although the jacket kind of bothers me it's bothering me right now because it feels like too detective.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah.
Yeah, see.
Good job, yeah. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way to make it more well. Maybe it's a color thing, and if I go with a royal white. No, I hate it. I still hate it.
Maybe something tighter, like a collar or something.
Oh, like
like it's constricted, right?
Yeah.
He's got a little more of kind of like a politician feel almost. It's so wild, just how
they're always diplomats and
politicians. Yeah. It's just wild how that 5 seconds of conversation that literally can change how a character is read, and your director can say he looks too smart or he looks too mean or he looks, and it's the fucking jacket. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like that is how design is. Like you've got to learn the clients and learn the language and be like, okay,
with this, now he looks like without the jacket, he looks like a rogue.
Yeah. Or he's been captured. Yeah.
Now he's like one of the captured aliens, and he's like all depressed.
I'm fighting against everything that I stand for.
You know what? I like the Rebel Fishman. Let's go with the Rebel Fishman.
Let's go Rebel Fishman.
Let's go Rebel Fishman as opposed to Royal Fishman.
Yeah, Rebel is much more interesting than Royal, and those are rules.
Well, I mean, I like royals, and I like diplomats. Anytime
I'm,
an alien show has alien diplomacy, that's like my thing.
yeah, so you're like way into Jar Jar Binks.
Love him. I think.
Honest, honestly, dude, I love Jar Jar Binks.
I mean, we all hated him. We all hated him in the beginning.
I love
Now,
Jar Jar Binks so much.
now we respect Jar Jar.
Yeah, Jar Jar's the man. He knows what's
Oh,
up.
oh, look, it's Adam Hartel. Hello, Adam. Welcome.
Boop, boop.
Welcome, sir. Agent Krichevsky rolls right off the tongue, doesn't it?
It's
That
rolling.
is our finest Secret Service agent, Agent Krichevsky.
Agent Skirvin coming in strong.
Agent 00. I don't know. Agent 00 Tim. This guy knows how to Tim.
This guy's a Tim. Oh, speaking of Tim, I need to show you that Polypaint thing to Maya.
Yeah, you do need to show me that Polypaint thing to Maya.
The only requirements
You're just
are that
you're just decimating with color, right?
No,
Or you're decimating with Polypaint.
I didn't even decimate. I just brought it in and rendered it. Yeah, just brought in a bunch of polys, and if
How many polys?
I mean, shit, I don't know, like
5, 10 million.
No, I mean it was like 20 million or something like that.
Wow.
Look it up here in a minute. But I just exported like the high res model, and because I wanted to see like
And it
how
didn't crash. It didn't crash on your machine.
no,
The machine that you hate,
no, I mean
that you despise.
there is a level of like, hey, I need to spend about $10,000 more on a computer. But really, the one thing is like, okay, how easy is it to use Polypaint in Maya, right? That's what I was trying to figure out. And it turns out it's pretty fucking easy.
Really?
You just gotta. Oh yeah, dude. There is like one node that you've got to bring in, and that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. And then you can just use it as a texture map, right? So I don't know. I think I didn't decimate it. I think I just brought it in high res. I even brought in all of his goop and webs and everything.
Did you export as like an FBX or an
FBX? Yeah, FBX. I think that's the only way that you can actually retain the Polypaint.
Really?
I can't remember. Well, I mean, talking to Maya, anyways.
Okay.
So whenever you export with an OBJ, whenever you export with texture and material on, you get the MTL file. And if you try and read it in Maya, it's like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And all you got to do is just bring in one little node that's like user point data or something.
Yeah.
And
I've heard of that one.
Who said that? Oh yeah, yeah, dude. It's
saying it's very similar in Blender.
Yeah, but whenever I saw
I open Blender, I die a little on the inside.
Well, I mean, whenever I found out, I was like, oh, I can just put this one thing in here and this is it. I'm like, okay,
ridiculous.
Like that's it. Maybe next week I'll set up a file and we can go through it. It's if I tried to do it now, it would probably crash unless I had it set up perfectly for streaming.
Fish scales?
But yeah, it's nice being able to get into actual, Keyshot is Keyshot, right?
Yeah, it's got limitations for sure.
It's like Keyshot is Keyshot, man, and like I'm a concept artist and a production artist, and I know the ins and outs big time of texturing. And if I can get ZBrush models with Polypaint into Maya, then yeah, like that's what we want. You know, we want the real ray tracing, we want the atmospheric. You
Yeah.
know, like we want the environment, we want the camera controls, the actual materials, and you know, like you give and take, right? Because in Keyshot you've got a bunch of pre-made materials, but honestly, you can do that stuff in Arnold. You just make a triplanar node, plug a texture in there, and you can pop it on a model and scale it. But it's more work. It's not it's not design friendly, but it's like design production friendly, right?
But yeah, because you're using cameras and stuff that's going to get passed on to everybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
For me, what I always thought the issue was that Maya just couldn't handle the poly budget. You know, because sometimes, you know, I'm throwing 22, 25, you know, I'm throwing millions of polys in
there. Yeah, I mean,
if Maya can't handle that and it's crashing.
No, you know, I mean, it's
Maya crash. It just feels more devastating than a Keyshot.
It feels more devastating because it takes like 30 times longer to open and close the software.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, exactly. And you're like, God, I can't. It's a devastating.
Yeah, that's the thing. Here, give me like I'm gonna open up Maya. I just want to see like what the Autodesk sign in. See, they do this to me every time.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Stop asking me to sign in, you jerks.
Yeah, I'm on my computer, man. Just
stop it.
Just hook me up.
I mean, I'll bitch and groan about subscription services till the end of time.
Cool. Well, I am not going to be able to log in. I cannot remember my password. You know, it's like every day, every service. Hey, you've got to change something. You need to update. And I'm like, God, dude, I'm just not about it.
They're like, hey, you forgot your password. Can you change your password?
Do you mind changing it from that one thing that you've always known? Do you mind that? Do you mind doing that for the 15th time in 2 months?
Can you change your password again?
I'm like, dude, what service am I paying for to where I have to do so much extra work?
We're all paying to remember new passwords.
I'm just curious. Who's trying to hack my Autodesk account? And that's what I want to know.
I mean, I get it for studios. I get it for that. But like, I don't know. For just an individual user in a seat, it's just a huge hassle. And it's exhausting. And I'm tired. Stop it.
I'm trying to figure it out.
Like, bring back perpetual licenses. Stop the nonsense.
I know, dude. Whenever I finally had to get kicked out of algorithmic substance painter in Adobe.
Oh yeah, I held on to that to the last minute.
Oh man, I was pretty pissed. I was like, man, I gotta do all this extra stuff just to. Oh, and I don't have the same. I don't know.
No, I know exactly what you mean because I went through that same thing. I'm like, guys, I don't.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna cut out for like
the software to live, but also stop it. I don't know.
I'm gonna open up this scene. I'm gonna open up this Tim scene to see. You
got your Tim.
Yeah, I finally got Maya loaded, but I'm gonna open up this scene here in about, let's see, 2 or 3 minutes. I'm gonna cut out for a second.
We actually have some questions coming in.
Oh, let's answer some questions.
We have the Hartel as well. The Hartel as well.
The Hartel.
What are y'all's favorite things to do to get out of art block? Sorry if this is a common question. No, it's always a good question. It's always a good question. The key to getting out of art block is to just cry. Cry and cry. And,
yeah, it's really all about tears.
no, you know,
tears.
Sometimes the hardest part is not do I want to make something. I had a helicopter going overhead. The hardest part sometimes is not like do I want to make something. The question is what do I make?
Right.
And this is something that me and Matt run into all the time. Actually, right before every show.
Oh yeah.
We're like, what are we doing?
Yeah, like what's going on? I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that.
Yeah. You know, like what do I want to work on? So for me, I don't experience art block in that way. Like there are different kinds of creative blocks, and one is recognizing like that there are different kinds of blocks, because Matt's got to go real quick. He'll be right back. I'm gonna go take a huge poop. Well, one is just recognizing that there are different kinds of blocks, different kinds of art blocks. One can be the paralysis of too many decisions, right? Like you have too many ideas and you don't know how to funnel out your idea. So that's a good one. Is sometimes you have decision paralysis, too many things to make, and you don't know which one to focus on. Sometimes there's just like the feeling of like, oh my God, everybody's better than me, and I'm the worst, and I should never. Why am I even doing this? What's the point? There's that kind of creative block where you're just like despair. That kind of block is unlocked by just sitting down and doing it every day. So sometimes the problem is not like, what do I do? Because you know what you want to do. You want to sit down and work, right? The problem is like, what do I make? And if you find yourself in that kind of problem, like, how do I start? Start by making marks on. Sit down and start doodling. Let your mind go and do some judgment-free drawing. So let me just give you a quick example of what judgment-free drawing looks like. This was actually a drawing I was noodling on earlier, and this started that same way, like just putting down marks on paper and letting happy accidents happen. So instead of trying to force an idea through, because sometimes, look, art is different. Like sometimes you get a really specific vision or a thought, something that you want to make. And then other times you don't experience that. You're like, I need to make something, but I don't know what to make. Start by like doing some judgment-free art stuff. By like, I do this. Number one is do a warm up. Warming up is also really helpful. Like an athlete warms up their body, the artist has to warm up their mind. So warm-ups look like, to me, they look like this. I draw like dumb cubes, and I'm not trying to like reinvent the wheel here. I'm just trying to warm up my hand and mind and my mind-body connection, if you will. So I'll do that, and I'll make spirals. Sometimes spirals are good because you're warming up your shoulder, your arm, your wrist, all that stuff. But then, like once you've done like a bunch of little spirals, and you've done your cubes, and you render a sphere, doing things like that, like just warming up, is really handy. But then when it comes time to like make something, um, start by like plotting down some shapes and uh, kind of judgment-free stuff. And I'm a character artist, so I tend to go to humans first, or like humanoid. But if you like drawing spaceships, try coming up with organic shapes and filling up the page that way. So the point is to just like start putting stuff down on paper as soon as possible and start making decisions. And even if I'm not going to continue with this, it doesn't matter. The point is that I'm just warming up. I'm working my way through it. The other thing is like just write everything down. Write all your little creative ideas down. Write them down when you have them, because otherwise, when you need them, you won't have it. That recall goes away. So write it down, get it out of your head, put it, on a notepad. I have dozens of Post-its everywhere that I use for notation. I have notes on my phone, things like that. So anytime you have an idea, write it down, because you never know if it'll come back. And sometimes you're waiting on inspiration. Eventually, it becomes habit forming, and then you don't think about it anymore. And I still get blocks. I still get creative doldrums and things like that. So just being able to learn how my own mind works best. Like learn what works best for you, and like build systems around what works for you and what works for your mind. Because we are truly, we're all wired differently in our brains. So just learn how your mind works. Matt Millard, Adam Hartel says, been playing around with Substance 3D Modeler Beta, and it could offer something really cool for us to bypass UVs for concept. I mean, I do that now. Oh,
okay, yeah, the new. I remember people. Who was it we saw on Twitter that was posting they were using the new beta?
Well, I know Geo's.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's really cool.
Yeah, for me, it's like, if you want to give me something that does exactly what ZBrush Keyshot does, I mean, show me.
Yeah, please.
Like I don't. A tool is a tool. I have the most experience with ZBrush, so that's where my comfort is. But if someone wants to come along and, competition's always good. It forces people to it always forces people to innovate.
Sorry. My dog is being a goober, dude. Sorry.
What's he doing? Is he like tugging?
He's like, I want to play.
I want attention, Dad.
Yeah, he wants attention. You can hear his tail wagging everywhere. Come over here, buddy. Come on. Over here. Lay down. So the 3D modeler beta, I mean, what does it do?
It looks really cool.
Like, what's the deal? Can you render and texture in there, or like, what's the?
Well, it's the bridge. It's the bridge between modeler, substance, and then stager.
Oh, okay. So it uses it uses all the packages together.
Yeah. So it's all kind of one Adobe package. Stager is their renderer, which is it's like Keyshot. It's kind of a mix between Keyshot and, I would say, Marmoset. It looks great. Oh, Matt's gone again.
Sorry,
He's back.
dude.
He's back. No, it's okay, man.
I haven't been able to pay attention to my dog a lot today. I've been very busy, so he's like, "Dad, please! Oh my God!"
Dad, you haven't given me any attention today.
Yeah, dude, I'm stoked to check it out. I really am. You know, like the real time stuff. I'm assuming it's kind of like a PBR workflow kind of.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
You know, that stuff is always really cool, but there's something really special about, physical ray trace rendering like V-Ray and Arnold. It just looks different.
It just looks different.
You've got
PBR. I mean, it always has a video gaming quality to me.
Yeah, I've been saying it for years, man. Like you can tell if it's real time. No matter how good it looks, you can tell. Like if you're in the industry, like you can break down the specular lobes, how things are reflecting, how things are scattering, and
And I think that's also what people mean when they say something looks like a video game.
Yeah. I mean, even down to all of the tricks you do in real time to recreate subsurface scattering. You're doing like back-facing camera stuff and facing ratio things and just color dodging like colors onto there. It's effective. But whenever you have your model tight, your maps tight, and your lights tight in physical rendering, it looks very good.
It looks real.
It's the difference between rendering my Spider Tim and Keyshot and putting him in an environment in Maya. It's like, dang, they're both really cool in my opinion, but the one looks way better than the other.
Yeah. Your Maya render of good old Tim. He looks great.
Yeah.
Substance auto wrap and optimize. Yeah, I mean, like it's all very cool. It's all very, very cool. And that was one of the first things our teachers at Gnomon said to us is, you guys like learning software? And we're like, yeah. And they're like, good. You'll be learning new software the rest of your life.
Yeah. One thing I will say, and this is not singled out to anyone, please don't get in your feels. I've had several people hit me up in the last probably 3 or 4 months about some of my renders. And they're like, I want to learn how to do this. And whenever I see that, I'm like, dude, that's great. Like, you can learn how to render in Keyshot in like a day. You can learn how to render in Maya and Arnold and V-Ray in like a couple of months. There's a whole different.
It's a different.
Like, there's a different thing there. It's
cumulative knowledge. It takes a long time.
Yeah, and ultimately, it's always like, dude, I'm willing to answer your questions, and some really, really good artists have hit me up about it, and I'm like, well, do you know the basics of this and that? And again, this is not like soloed to anyone. I've had this conversation several times, and they're like, yeah, I just do ZBrush, and I'm like, okay, well, you're gonna have to learn a lot of stuff, and it's like, dude, we take like 2 years of classes on these things to learn this stuff.
Yeah,
from professionals.
Yeah,
and you can spend a lot of time on YouTube and your YouTube and Reddit and all this shit and learn your stuff. But man, like, it's not.
The thing is like, you can do YouTube Academy that way.
Yeah,
but you are just never gonna know the proper workflow.
Yeah, and it's really
like because consistency between people, and there are gaps in people's knowledge, and obviously in YouTube they're skipping over the gaps.
Yeah,
to present what they're trying to present.
Right.
So the only way is to learn from actual artists. you know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, more importantly, just learn the foundations. And by foundations, I mean that on a lot of levels. Like, how do you navigate the software?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if I'm going to help someone learn and they're like, how do I merge vertices together? I'm like, listen. Like, I'm like, listen. Like,
What you want is intro to
yeah,
mine. What
I,
I'm
I'm,
what
yeah,
I
I'm not gonna show you how to operate the software, but if you have looked at questions and even basic stuff, like I've had a lot of artists that I've helped getting into texturing that just didn't understand the concept of like spec maps and bump maps and all this stuff.
oh
That
yeah,
kind
that's
that
one
kind
of
of stuff that
yeah.
kind of stuff is awesome. I'm like ready to talk to you about that stuff. But if it's like, hey, what's a Maya? I'm like, okay, well,
What's the Maya you?
what's a Maya?
What's the
You know,
Maya you?
and I'm, again, like not to sound off-putting at all. If you guys ever have any questions, please hit me up. But just know that it's like you've got to put your work in, man. Like you've
Yeah,
got
yeah,
to put your work in to your software. Like how do you operate your rendering software? And you have to understand, okay, well now I'm at the point to where I don't understand what spec maps and rough maps and displacement maps. I don't understand what that means. That's the kind of stuff that look dev guys can really help you with. Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and granted, we can all take plenty of time to explain how to use software, but at the end of the day, like that's your due diligence. You need to spend a lot of time, and I mean a lot of time, trying to learn this stuff. In my opinion, right?
Well, look, like I'll put it this way: is it you have two hurdles to cross when you're becoming an artist, a digital artist. You have the traditional foundational skills um, required, and then there's the technical skills.
Exactly.
And you have these two tracks that you're trying to run at the same time, and they're both really, really hard. Eventually, you can cross all the technical hurdles. You can get there. The art stuff is going to take you the rest of your life.
Yeah.
There's always going to be more to learn, and there's always going to be some nugget of knowledge, some piece of amazing information that happens. Like when you're talking to senior artists and things like that.
Exactly. It's kind of like what we were talking about earlier, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah. I mean,
you meet the guys you feel like you can't really like be on their, you can't really like level with them, but they give you knowledge to where you're like, damn, like that's insane.
The trade-off is so cool and worth it.
And a lot of it is spending a lot of time understanding what is a material. How do you make a material? That's the kind of like that's the kind of stuff like you just spend hours and hours and hours and hours on. Like you become fascinated with it, and you go outside and you look at bricks. You look at bricks in the golden hour. You look at bricks at sunrise. You look at bricks in the moonlight, and you're like, wow, this is the same material, and it looks completely different 3 different times a day. That's the kind of shit you got to understand. Like you got to love that. Love that stuff.
There's always that kind of like joke, like when beginner modelers they start working in polygons, and they step outside and they're like, I saw the whole world in topology, man.
Yeah, yeah.
I did the same thing.
To this day, I see that, dude.
You can turn it on. You can
this day,
now you can be like, oh, I wonder what the topology of that looks like, and your brain will switch it on. Yeah. And then you start doing things like, oh, look at the material, the specular roll off is really interesting.
Right.
And oh, I wonder if that's when I plug a color into this, into the shader and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
That stuff. Once that hits, it's amazing.
Like that's the life of a look dev.
You feel your brain being rewired.
Yeah, that's the life of a look dev artist. You're trying to understand, because your job as a look dev artist is to recreate realistic materials. That's all you're trying to do. And so Max Dayan, like from day one, he was like, go to Home Depot, look at wood, look at metal, go out in the woods, look at trees, look at grass, and dude, like nothing has ever been as true because it literally happens every day. Every day in my life, I'll be like chilling on a patio and someone will be like, "You okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, I'm just looking at the mold on this paneling. It's pretty wild." They'd be like, "Bro, you're weird." And I'm like, "Yeah, but you don't get it." Like,
Yeah. I would say on that point, as a creature designer, you start looking at animals that way.
100%.
And you start thinking about their anatomy, and you start thinking about little weird animal things, like why adaptations are built a certain way, or things that are adapted for specific environments. You turn on the curiosity side of your brain.
100%.
And curiosity, I think, is a muscle that you can switch on. And I wish someone had kind of like told me that years ago. That, like, because maybe I would have been a better like student in high school. Like, maybe if there was a reason why I should have been interested, then maybe my curiosity would have been tapped, and I'd be like, "Oh, that's really cool,"
Yeah.
But I mean, the school system squashes creativity.
Yeah, 100%. That's all they do. Well, I mean, in my experience, they were like, "You can't do that."
But when you do have a good teacher and they switch on that part of your brain, it's really good. And what Gnomon taught me was like how to be curious and how to apply my curiosity to my interests. And then,
yeah, for sure.
In my case, my morbid curiosity.
Right. And you have a very morbid curiosity.
It's true.
I say that respectfully.
No, absolutely. Totally get it.
He's like, "Oh, bro, I take pride in it."
Yeah, no, it's true.
Yeah, I mean, I had a similar thing, I mean, I went to private school for the first like five years of school probably, and they were just constantly, they're like, "You can't do that, you can't do this," and I was just like, "I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it. I like doing this. I play Mortal Kombat. I play Resident Evil. I'm gonna draw zombie things. I'm gonna make people dead. I'm gonna do stuff like this." And eventually, one day, here we are.
It's a it's such an old school mentality, because it's such an old school mentality of like, oh, but one of America's biggest imports are games and entertainment.
Yeah, for sure.
We consume a lot of entertainment in our country. We love escapism. We love books. We love stories. And so anybody that tells you can't survive as an artist, they're full of it.
Yeah, it's an interesting.
It's an old school mentality, and it doesn't it doesn't belong today.
Yeah, it's always like, "Oh, you'll never make it as an artist," We had a meeting. You and I had a meeting with some other people the other day, and I was like, "Man, in my little piece that I said, I was like, I was the only creative person I knew. I really was." And so I never had any sort of competition or anything, and I never knew anyone to be on that level of creativity as me, and that didn't put me in any sort of like higher place. But whenever I came into like Gnomon, surrounded by all of these people that were just as creative, and they were way better, and they were just as good, or they weren't as good, it was just like, wow, like this is real. Like you can actually do this stuff. It's just kind of like a prime example of like people are going to tell you whatever the hell they want to tell you, man. If you want to do some shit, just do it. And, I think the thing that I learned from working so many different jobs in my life was if there was a task to be done and you didn't know how to do it, you are intimidated by that, but what you can do is tell yourself, this task is not me. It's not better than me. It's a skill. I can learn it. Whether it's grilling food, whether it's like driving a truck or whatever it is, it's like, dude, that's not bigger than you. You can learn how to do that. So, fuck, man, just go for it.
It's the will of your mind. Like, if you really, I think if you're really all determined to learn something and do it, you're gonna do it because it's what you.
Lay down. Lay down, buddy. Good boy.
He's gonna have some hands.
Here. Take this.
Doing a little color burning at the edges of these things here. Little color separation.
I know, buddy. Lay down. Come on, lay down.
He's having a good time.
You're crazy, man. You're crazy.
We love you, Slayer.
I know he's crazy, dude. I'm sorry, guys.
It was like that night when we had fireworks going off. Gilly was not having it. So you can see I'm applying a little bit of color into the fins now. I've plugged some scales kind of over this guy. Just little fish scales. I think what I'm going to do to kind of put some iridescent color on it is I'm going to switch it to a color spray. Let's go to the big box. We'll go to the big box. Let me switch off to the side there. There you go. So I'm going to switch to a color spray type with a dot alpha here. And if I sample the color spray, you'll see up close here, I'm getting this nice like color variation. So it's a nice little subtle thing that'll plug in.
Are you just dragging and dropping that alpha?
No, it's just color spray.
No, I mean for your scales.
Oh yeah. Just a VDM that I got.
Dude, nice. I'm making dinosaurs right now for the project I'm on, and I developed this workflow that I didn't know was like possible recently. I thought
scales are the worst, right?
I know, dude, they are. And
they're the worst.
So I figured out how you can go into
dinosaurs, but scales are awful.
I figured out how you can go to a texturing software and just texture all your scales, and then apply them to your model and adjust them in ZBrush. I'll have to see if I can make a.
That's you're just what? You're using Mari and extracting displacements off, or?
Yeah, I mean, to an extent, like, I mean, Substance Painter, but you get a couple of really solid textures, you UV your model, you bring it into Substance, and you texture the whole model on the height channel. And if it's on UDIMs, I didn't know that this was possible, like, maybe, because back in the day, what you used to have to do in ZBrush, if you had UDIMs on your model to apply displacement, you would have to separate each UDIM into a different Z tool.
Right.
But now
we would build islands out of it.
Right, and now you can just hide that part of your model and apply the UDIM.
Oh.
So yeah, dude. So it has made this workflow like pretty crazy to the point to where it's like, oh well, you could do some pretty serious stuff if you just like quickly UV your stuff or bring it into a painting software, take an hour to texture some scales on there that are perfect. And, you know, if you have like a texturing software, you can tile your scales, you can paint on specific parts, export your height map, and then just apply it. That's cool. That's also, you know, a work-heavy workflow, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Whenever you're just screaming through stuff, like, you know, it's probably not worth it. But you know, who knows? I've started actually, like, you know, implementing that time into that kind of work, because it's like they're gonna be. Yeah, I mean, it's necessary. They're going to art direct stuff. They're going to do things. I've had that issue with several clients, but this new workflow that I've got is just like, oh, that's actually really cool. I can take an hour and kind of change my pace.
This have changes anyway. So if the question always becomes like, how much time do you want to spend, you know, on something, you know, when you know they're going to just change it anyway.
Right. So exactly.
If you have a method for that, that's great.
And, you know, it's the texture that informs the sculpt, that informs the color, that informs all of the other maps. So it becomes like, hey, can you make this one change to this group of scales? You're like, yes. And then it all updates seamlessly.
That's awesome. You'll have to show me that.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, it's pipeline work, so it's not like.
Yeah, for sure. It's not my.
Yeah, dude, it's tough because
you know me. I'm always pipeline curious.
I know, dude. I know you are. But you're lightning fast. You're like slam it down. You know, and it always looks great. But man,
and that's you know, just kind of muscle memory of like what I've had to do to survive.
Of course, man.
You know, slam it down. But Absolutely. But I always keep up on pipeline, because it's important to know the pipeline in order to know how to circumvent it.
Yeah, dude. And what I've been trying to do is, you know, I'm taking your class and taking classes with Miguel Ortega. They're opposite and the same.
Yeah.
Whenever he told me that, or not told me, but in our class, he was like, you know, we worked on concepts for this movie and this movie and this movie. And he was like, these concepts were basically production ready. And so I'm finding like the mid-level in that, right? Like I want that production level in the concept and the control, to whereas if I spent, you know, an hour or two trying to drag on alphas onto this guy, and it's a very specific thing.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, they're too small. And you're like, well, shit. I gotta go back
all over again.
Or I could just be in Substance and be like, scale up, export map, import, good to go, right? So there's a level to it, to where I'm slowly, in all of my concept gigs, I'm trying to get into like a production level to an extent, to be like, okay, here's this level of work, and you can change it modularly. You know what I mean? So but some jobs definitely don't call for that. But
I mean, but like the thing is like your design is locked at that point whenever
you're in tertiary land and stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, it's late game stuff, right?
Yeah. Early development is different. It's a different.
Oh, dude, it's all just broad strokes and that's one of the worst parts about early development, is that you'll spend like 2 days on something and be like, this is just garbage. And you're like, okay.
You're like, well, cool.
You're like, man, I should have sent you my block in just to get some reads or something.
But that's why you work fast. That's why you know, because you don't want to spend a bunch of time on something that just gets rejected.
Exactly, man. And ultimately,
you build systems.
Like that happens to us a lot.
Yeah, I mean, and that's also the nature of design, and you know, we're all just guessing, you know, and trying to figure out what somebody wants.
But yeah, I mean, you know, some clients are different than others. All jobs are different than others, you know. But there's
no like universal experience, I think.
Right, right. I mean,
unless you worked with that director before, and then you're good.
Yeah, because ultimately
You
you're working with people. That's all it is. People trying to please and entertain other people.
Other hard to please people.
Yeah. It's like, okay. But yeah, next week I'll bust out some production tricks. I'll see if I can find that Tim scene and show you how to do some polypaint stuff.
Show me some Tim, man.
Maybe I'll show you some substance tricks on the, applying the displacement maps and shit on the
That's I was running into that today. I was like, I gotta, but because I was working on drip, and
right.
I had him in substance, and it just it had an overly substance feel to it, and I didn't like it.
Well, like in substance.
Substance,
it felt too substance.
I was baking it out and then taking it into Keyshot just to see if that's worth it for my pipeline.
Dude, Keyshot. I mean, are you able to plug in your specular and roughness maps and bump maps into Keyshot?
Yeah, you can export Keyshot format.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I mean, I don't mean that in the way that I mean that.
It's okay.
In the way that I said that, it's just that, I mean, I don't have the pro version, but even with the version that I have, it's like, dude, I don't know if getting it to the next level is possible in this software. You know what I mean? Like it's incredibly useful for design and stuff, but that production level juice, I just don't know if it's possible.
It has a look to it.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's got a different.
That's the thing is that it has
the subsurface in Keyshot kills me. It kills me.
Yeah, I mean that's usually the biggest.
It fucking kills me. It just kills me, dude.
One thing I did learn is that you can set your scene units.
Yeah. That's cool.
That might help.
Okay, so I mean, yeah, that would help a lot, actually. Yeah. I mean, I probably can't set it in mine because I don't have the pro version.
I'm sure you could.
I don't know.
I'm sure it's in there. I'm sure you could. It's basic stuff, but you're right. It's probably in the pro.
Dude, I can't even set up render passes, and plus really? I bought it through ZBrush.
Oh yeah.
And now I can't upgrade it through the new. I can't remember what happened. Somebody bought somebody, and now I can't upgrade it. I just have to buy a whole new one.
Yeah, man. It's all kablooey now.
Kablooey. Kablooey.
If I ever come up with a 3D package, it's going to be called Kablooey.
Dude, honestly,
it would be
that is awesome.
You're like, oh yeah, man, let me export to Kablooey and.
Dude, I know the guy that made V-Ray. I haven't talked to him in a couple of years. I'm gonna talk to that dude and be like, listen, Kablooey, what do you think? Let's go. And let's make Kablooey.
I love the name. What does it do? And we'll be like, look, let me tell you.
Listen. Makes hot dogs, also does CG rendering.
It does CG rendering and it walks your dogs.
Yeah, is Mama home? What are they tripping on?
No, they're just squirrels and birds.
Just being dogs.
My wife and kid are out of town. They don't come back till Thursday.
That's right. Where are they at? Detroit?
They're in Detroit.
Detroit, Michigan.
They're living that Detroit high life.
Yeah, that Miller high life.
They're going to parks.
They're going to parks.
Parks. So they've been gone, but I've been, you know, just workaholic mode anyway.
I mean, they've been gone, but you've been there.
I've been here.
Yeah, that's life.
That's how you know.
That's what's happening.
That's what's happening. Make myself some eggs in the morning.
Dude, how how often do you change your nibs on your damn pen, dude?
No, once a blue moon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just every now and then I just get tired of like I get that brand new nib and I'm like, oh, that's nice. And then like, you know, 5 days later it's just like like just and I'm like, God, this thing's already ate up.
How hard are you pushing down on your pen?
Not very. I mean, I've got everything decent. It's just that I think I use the same angle on every stroke that it just
so
wears down, just wears down the surface of it.
I'm gonna pick some brushes.
Yeah, after we get off the stream, I'm gonna have to dynamesh this guy together because if I did it now, it would be over.
It would be time.
It would be time. Speaking of time, it might be time.
No, it's not time.
Okay, it's not.
No, it's not time.
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 Yeah, it's not time.
It's not time.
Jared's putting his foot down. It's not time, boys and girls.
It's not time yet. Trying to get some wrinkles on this guy.
Yeah. Oh, on the damn.
Working on his little like uniform, his little rebel uniform now.
Dude, will you bust that back open? I want to see all those. What do you have? You had a bunch of alphas. What was that?
Yeah, like I bought.
Look at those.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's crazy.
You want to see some cool stuff?
I want to see some cool stuff.
Like this one's cool. This one's like a cool scale, like a scaly alpha. And then
yeah, a little crocodile scale.
Little crocodile. There we go. Yeah, little crocodile scale.
Little crocodile scale.
That's a very like Star Trek thing to do. So I'll mask out this area and
just kind of hit it with some crockies.
You gotta hit him with some crockies, man.
Hit him with the Dwayne the Croc Johnsons.
Rampage. It's a shame we never got a Rampage sequel.
Yeah, I wouldn't have worked on it because they killed my dog. They ripped his head off.
They killed him.
Everything I make gets its head ripped off. And you know, not complaining.
I mean, how many people can say that? I mean, both our boys got their heads ripped off.
You went full Sub-Zero on it, and I am jealous about that. Honestly, very jealous. Spine hanging out and everything. I mean, yeah, it was perfect. Perfect.
It was a good time.
Perfect. So perfect. But, you know, it was like both scenes, it was a shame to see him go. It was like, I mean, can't they just, like, linger on?
Yeah, can't they just, like, you know, go out to the park?
I mean, granted, my dude ate a bus full of children way into it, so got that marked off the list.
He ate the whole bus full of children?
I think he ate a bus full of. Do you remember the keyframe that Houston Sharp did?
Yeah.
That was, dude, that piece of art with him just like eating the bus full of people. I was like, yeah, fucking hell, yeah.
That's pretty good. I'm trying to find like a nice like futuristic weave I could put on this.
Okay, I feel you.
You smell me?
You're looking for a futuristic weave.
A futuristic weave.
Everything's made out of toenails.
Ah.
That's futuristic.
That's futuristic.
We're into future, boys.
Boys, it's time for the future.
Time for the future, boys.
I guess I'll send them into Keyshot and we'll see what's What's going on in Hambo Town?
Quick inquiry to whoever's watching. Shoot us some ideas for next week.
Yeah. If you have something that you want to see us sculpt or tackle or talk about,
just hit us up.
Just
let us know.
Please.
We want to know. We want ideas.
You know, we have a lot of ideas, and in some cases too many.
Yeah, it's true.
We have whole lists that we've written.
It's
and
true.
We're like, so what are we doing?
And we look at the list and we're like, I don't know. Big deal.
So if you have something that you want to see, you want to see us tackle, you want to see us sculpt, you let us know. You tell us. Fantasy creatures.
Fantasy. Okay.
You know, that's kind of the rule of. Well, what I like to do is also art block. You know, when we were talking about art block, is I like to go through the genres. So what's a genre that I you know, because I teach this in the class, but I also kind of do it in my own personal work. Like, okay, what are the genres? Fantasy, sci-fi, horror. Fantasy, sci-fi, horror. Horror is my comfort zone. Sci-fi is a little harder for me. I don't do a lot of fantasy, but I should probably do some more fantasy stuff.
Yeah, I would say fantasy is probably the most, you know, it's difficult for, you know, it's difficult for me because it's not as aggressive and, you know, just aggro, man. It's a lot of.
Let's do some aggro fantasy then. Let's do something hardcore.
I mean, I'm into any kind. You know what I mean? I'm just into any.
Hartel says specifically Japanese mythological creatures.
See, dude, Jared, whenever you asked me, what have we not done? The one thing I didn't want to say was like, you know, Azura level stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, this is one thing that I have had to do so many like Chinese jobs and Japanese jobs, that kind of thing. It's like that stuff is difficult, dude.
Yeah, it is.
The clients are. It's
a different game, man. Yeah.
It's not even to be one way or the other. It's just literally like the visual language is so different, and communicating that is so hard. It's a good challenge, though. It really is.
Yeah, it's really
a very good challenge.
I've plugged this really pastel-y bright color into the specular here.
Oh yeah, get a little bit of
nice, like, iridescent quality.
Yeah.
See, plug that in. See there?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, in Keyshot, so did you plug a solid color in? It doesn't look like
no. It's this is a tileable that I made. You Google like iridescent texture, and then in Photoshop you make it tileable.
Yeah, I do the whole just in the thing. I'll do like you'll bring in like the infrared or anything view dependent and just plug a ramp in for that.
Oh yeah. You can do that like with a curvature too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, I mean, you can do it with curvature. It won't really feel like iridescence, though. But I mean, dude, that looks great.
There we go. Norse trolls. I mean, how many trolls have we seen? You know, Hartel wants a Matt Millard Japanese dragon. What is my rule?
What's the deal with dragons?
I don't know, man.
Do you want to? Okay,
what's going on?
Dude, I think the main question is: do you want to sit around for 12 weeks while we make a dragon?
While we make scales and wings and oh my god, I'm already exhausted thinking about it.
I mean, don't get me wrong. We love dragons, dude.
We do.
I love dragons.
But like, my God.
Ooh. All right, brother. It's time for me.
He's timing. He's timing out.
12:06.
Don't blame me, buddy, because you got a lot of stuff going on. You got a lot of hands.
Let's do the final check-in.
All right. Let me pull up my graphic.
The final check-in.
Oh, do I have to make a new one for the final?
Do we need a final check-in? It's got to be like Mortal Kombat.
Oh, the final check-in.
Can I record sound? Be like final check-in, and I'll add some distortion. Can we do that? The final check-in. Yeah.
I think we can do that. And I'm just gonna like blink it on and off like this.
Maybe I'll record a little death metal riff. Whoop! You know what I mean?
Oh, final check-in.
Like that. Can we do that?
Yeah, I'm into it.
Like, seriously, can we do that?
Yes.
Okay, well, it's going to happen.
Yes.
The final chicken. Dude.
Right.
That guy said final chicken.
The final chicken? Oh, I like that. I like that. Final chicken.
It's good.
I'm a newbie to ZBrush. I want to learn ZBrush for making high poly for my game assets, but I don't want to go deep into organics. I want to know in general how I can practice ZBrush, or what are some exercises you suggest that I should follow to get good at ZBrush. So you want to use ZBrush, but you don't want to do organics.
Yeah.
ZBrush is like primarily a sculpting program. Otherwise, you're doing poly modeling, like box modeling. So I guess it depends on what you want to do. I mean, you can build environments. You can build little houses, or
it sounds like It sounds like this person is brand new, and that's not a negative cut or anything. It sounds like he wants to make high poly assets for his video game, but what you have to understand is that there are many tiers to that, and even before making high poly assets to video games, what Jared I think was speaking on is like, you've got to learn the fundamentals, right? Like, how can I practice ZBrush? I mean, dude, sculpt a human skull.
Yeah, that's the first thing. Like, whenever anybody asks me anything, it's always start with the skull. Start with practicing a skull, because it's a structure. It's we all know what a skull looks like, so and there's lots of good resources for it. Yeah, man, get them skulls. Start with them skulls.
Scullies.
Yeah, man. So Matt, why don't you take us into the check-in? Why don't you tell us what you're doing?
We're going Parkinson's disease, Your Honor. You know, I just
you can't stop checking in.
I just can't stop checking in.
I can't stop checking in.
Yeah, I just kind of pushed this. I had this. What am I doing? There we go. Yeah, I've got this guy. Right there he is. No Polypaint on him yet, but he's just a demon man. He's feeling good about it. And I started with it was very hard surface on top, and I think I'll probably marry both of them. But I had a very hard surface beginning, which was kind of this this piece right here, right? I had this like scary piece, which is dope. But I wanted
it's a dope piece.
I wanted to push a lot of organic elements into it, like the flesh is growing over the armament, and I adjusted a lot of the forms and stuff on the face here to make him a little more sinister. And you know, he's my demon man. I gave him a third eye. We're not there yet, but we're starting to block in some of maybe like the metal plates that are around him. He's gonna be a scary dude, and if anybody knows me, I like scary things.
He likes the scary things.
It's just what I'm into. I'm into it. But you know, I should branch out, and maybe do something not so scary
Well,
because
I definitely wanted to do a cute thing, like
oh,
do some.
see, that's the thing is I'm a way into cute stuff.
We
You'd
should do a
never
cute.
guess
We
it.
should do a cute session.
Let's go cute. We're
Like,
getting
I would
cute,
love.
boys.
There's a couple cute things I want to do, but I want to do some cute.
Yeah, I'm into cute stuff. I really am. So I'm going to call it right here. That's nice. Let me see if I can roll back. I'll see if I can roll back. I just want to see if we can get like a before and after. Let's go here. Little Shift S to screenshot. Boom. Give it a second. See if it updates. Drink some water.
Drink some
See
water.
see if it comes back. See if it crashes your computer. You know, this is the computer you walk into Best Buy in 2020. You're like, what's the most expensive computer
Yeah.
they got?
Oh God.
Dude, the machine I had before this, it was like puffing smoke. The thing was out of order, dude. Yeah, so here we go. You can see the before and after. And so this is where we're at. We'll find a marry between, but I like a lot of the stuff that I've developed on. It's just been a noodle session, right? But I'll bring some of this
Oh,
arm
that's
stuff.
fun. He's got kind of like a wicked smile.
Yeah, right. He's grinning.
Yeah,
He likes
he's got kind of a wicked thing
he,
going on.
he likes it.
I think he likes it.
He likes it.
I think he likes it.
All right, where are you at, bro?
Oh man, well I was trying to get some eyes in there, hopefully in time, but we didn't make it. But this is where he's ended up.
Someone said the picture's gone and that it's pixelated.
That might be, I don't know. Could be a streaming thing.
Okay, it's back.
It's back, so we're good.
Thank you for letting us know, guys.
Yes. So this is where he's at right now, and I was just playing around with the kind of translucency of the fins here, because I want those to be extra translucent. And then
yeah, they're all separate pieces, right?
yeah, they're all separate pieces. But like if I turn on this opacity here, I can actually get a little bit more transparent. So it's a game between like upping the refractive index and the transparency, but you can see like it's like this nice game I have to play of like balancing, but like because I want to be able to see through the fins.
Yeah, it's one of those things like kind of what we were talking about earlier, the difference between like concept rendering and production rendering, right? Like
Yeah.
in production, you would just paint some maps and slap them in to drive that transparency, the opacity, refraction, all that other stuff.
Yeah,
But-
with this,
but, like,
you'd have to paint it in, or you
Right, like for here, you'd have to render a couple of passes and slap it in, but it works just the same.
And if I turn depth of field here, there we go.
Yeah, I like the dude. Yeah, it's the reflection. You've got the multicolor reflection, and they're kind of looking like the oily reflection.
Yeah.
Looking cool, man.
A good way to do that, and
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
I think, as a start, it's pretty good. I would I'm going to turn that off real quick. He needs a little bit more costume work, just some extra layers on top.
Yeah.
Plug in some different eyes here, but then I think, I'd like to turn the head 3/4.
Dude, I feel like it's one of those things to where you could kind of Photoshop kind of like some fish patterns on there, like some dots, some spotches.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe
I was
some
thinking
lines.
some squid spots and some other,
Yeah, I mean, like
going
even
on
look like fucking trout and
Yeah.
just like freshwater fish, you know. Just
Yeah.
I mean, they've got some weird like all of their fins. There's always some modeling and some dots like that would really bring it out too. I mean, the guy's he looks like he's in a TV show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's got some character, and I think once
I love the lips. The lips are doing it for sure. The lips are selling it for sure.
Once I'm able to turn the head too, I think that'll add a lot of personality.
Dude, it always helps. Always helps.
The one
every time.
Like, it's always the one thing, like 3/4 turn of the head. Boom, there it is.
Yeah.
But
right, brother, I gotta get out of here, my dog.
But he's gotta get out of here, and
my dog's whining.
we're gonna eat some milk.
We're gonna eat milk, and next week we're gonna start a brand new creepy, crondy.
Yeah, next week we're gonna do a new prompt, and then once again, like if you have something and you want us to like,
dude, hit us up.
Do it.
Hit us up. Let us know.
Tell us.
Let's set up a week-long poll.
What do you want to see?
Yeah. What do you want to see? You want to see a guy with fish for legs?
We can do fish legs, guys.
We can do fish legs.
You know, does he have stacks of very funny hats?
Yeah. Is his eyes just Game Boys? We don't know. You gotta let us know.
But no, that's the thing is like the question is like what do we make? And we have lots of crazy, insane ideas, but we also want to know like what's helpful for you guys to see us work on, because like we're gonna hang in our comfort zone, but if you guys are like, hey, we want to see some fantasy stuff, we want to see some,
let's do it, man. Let's go.
What do I say? We don't grow in our comfort zone. So
yeah, for sure.
I have to do stuff that's like not our a space marine with huge shoulder armor. I don't think so. I don't want
a huge shoulder. I mean, massive shoulder armor.
I mean, that's not a creature.
It's not a creature. Yeah, you're right. It's not a creature. This is the creature corner. Okay.
The creature corner.
Something to remember.
Within the realm, Space Marine is like it's a dude.
And this is not to say we don't love Space Marines. Yeah, we love Space Marines.
Look, dude, Space
Come on!
Are awesome.
I love them.
But like, our Matt and I, do you really want Matt and I to like sit down and sculpt armor for 40 hours?
For like
8 episodes of doing armor. And we're just like,
So anyways, here's our shoulder.
I mean, I'll do it. I'll do it if that's what you guys want.
No.
Ghost Samurai Warrior. No. Ghost Samurai Warrior.
No, Ghost is working a little bit, but
Ghost is cool.
We need like Serpent Ghost Samurai Warrior. You know
that's
what I mean?
Cool. That's cool.
See,
like we start
Creature Corner.
Creature Corner.
Look, we've got our moves.
We lost it.
We are very smart human beings.
Thank you guys for coming on.
Zombie dinosaurs.
Zombie dinosaurs. My name is Jared Krichevsky. You can find me on @Jared Krichevsky on Instagram, or my Twitter handle, which is @MonsterMash042. You can find Matt Millard on Instagram @MattMillard3D. You can find him at Twitter and @ItchyTasty.
There it is.
Itchy
Tasty, boys.
_ See, you can't see it at the bottom there, but it says Itchy Tasty _
There's a bonus
underscore. I'm going to create like a graphic just like this one. I'm going to create a graphic that has all our stuff on it.
I would like that. Yeah.
I think it would be neato. So I'm going to do that.
Hey, thank you for watching, guys.
Yeah, then so next week, stay tuned for more Creature Corner. And then, guys, we love you. Thank you to Lenovo, our sponsor. Thank you to Gnomon School of Visual Effects. As always, the Mecca of Visual Effects in West Hollywood, California. Thank you to all our Little Creature Corner fans. We love you guys. Hit us up. Let us know what's going on. Show us what you're making. And then go watch some movies. Go make some monsters. Go be the best that you can be. And
Be the
you
creature.
will go forth and go and
You will go forth and
you
go.
will go forth and go and work.